time is now.
NUFC Early Night News with Gary the Geordie Yam Yam, Andrew Boaky, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 7:30 p.m. UK, 1:30 p.m. USA. NUFC Talk.
Everybody, welcome to NUFC Talk with myself, the Geordie Yam Yam. We've got Boaky, we've got Tim, and we've got, of course, the Mighty Win. He is obviously, he's like having the cheerleader on the team. He is the one and only.
He's like a bad smell. You can't get rid of him.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's the only time I feel like a Chippendale when I'm next to you, because the amount of, reaction you get from everybody. I've never had that type of reaction than I get when I'm with a you lad. Welcome, one and all. Anyway, like I say, we've got to get into tonight's show, which is a review of what's going to come up, I suppose, at the Man City game on Saturday at the 5:30 schedule. There has also been a change to one of our games, which is in the new year. So we'll have a look at that as well. But apart from that, like I say, we are going to concentrate mainly this part as looking at the Man City. We'll try and get to other bits and pieces. We don't want to spend 2 hours talking purely on Man City. I'm sure there's other things out there that we'll be discussing. Good show today, by the way, you guys. It was a good discussion. I always love to listen to either side of the coin when it comes to season ticket holders. Who deserves one and who doesn't? But like I say, it's good to see that the club are now making a stand to those selling on to the third parties. I have no issues with people passing them down to family, friends, and co. But when they start to sell to make money from it, I think that's a different kettle of fish.
Correct, and that is the difference. Yeah,
I mean, I must admit, I've been stung myself from a birthday present, so I know exactly where you guys are coming from. Before we get into tonight's show, though, I suppose we better do the housework. Welcome to one and all watching across all of the platforms. Thanks to all mods that work in the background. Don't forget to hit that like button out there in viewerland. It certainly helps us get further as a channel. Subscribe, it's totally free. Hit that bell for future content. Remember, always live, never edited. If you want to help us, you can become a member, small monthly fee. Again, if you can afford to do so, that would help us massively as well going forward. If you've got a question for any of us in the panel, then put a Q in front of that question. Not always guaranteed to be mentioned, though, but it does highlight it in the chat, and we'll try and get to as many of you as we possibly can. But to support us, you could throw us a super chat, a Talk TV super chat, by following the $sign. Follow the instructions, and that will guarantee you read out. There's one straight away.
We'll get
we'll get to that one in a second, buddy. Like I say, that will help us massively by just doing that simple little chat. Like I say, just gets us further, and it gives you all these shows constantly because we can get people on doing all their other shows. I mean, Tim's now a newbie. He's broke the jewel and he's on board with his mate, with his other half, which is Peter. You can never tell the difference with them two. Anybody that becomes a member during the show and anybody that gifts them out there will also be highlighted and thanked. Like I say, we've got loads of different things. And regarding shows, we have obviously got Jamie and Hutch coming on directly after ours. Gary, you're hardly a boy band. What are you talking about? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I need the beautiful wind by the side of me just to get somebody's pants thrown at me, and it's usually a jockstrap. Anyway, let's get on with tonight's show. But like I say, Jamie and Hutch are going to be on directly after us at 9:30. So stay tuned, stay with us all the way through. Do not go anywhere. And I think that's been the confusion recently. When we finish, you're not expecting another show coming straight after. But there always will be going forward.
This time there is.
Yeah, it will always will be. So keep with us. Right then, gentlemen, are we excited about the weekend? We're excited about domestic football being back. No more international football. Well, you're up against a toughie, mind. And like I say, I'm sure you've all got your opinions on what Eddie should do. But will Eddie take that opinion? Boaky,
Can I
go on.
just refer
Go for it,
you to an email which I got today from the club? And it's with regard to exactly what you were just referring to there. Newcastle United and the Fan Advisory Board have published the FAB meeting summary notes of the 25-26 season. Newly appointed CEO David Hopkinson joined the forum to meet with members, etc., etc., etc. And the focus of the meeting concerned around match day ticketing, easy for me to say, and the transparency of the ballot system. So figures were shared, and these are the same figures that they shared with us last Thursday. So they've gone public with them all now. There is a 23% success rate for members in sourcing tickets through the ballot. Ballot, general sale forwarding or ticket resale. 14% of unsuccessful applicants later buy tickets by the member general sale route. And 13% of the people that are successful in the ballot do not go on to purchase a ticket. So there's only 13% of people who apply for the ballot who don't actually then go on to buy the ticket. And then it's blurb, 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 until we get down to another interesting bit, which is one of the main talking points, is the waiting list for season tickets. And the club are saying, quote, by having a waiting list for season tickets, supporters will gain further understanding of time frames. Excuse me, we'll have a drink.
Oh,
I've been talking for too long. Nothing new there. We know that season tickets are in high demand and everybody would love one, but also that people cannot always commit to buying one. The waiting list will allow fans to know how close they are to getting a season ticket and be able to plan for it. Further fan consultation will be held around the initiative. So this is not something that's happening. This is something they're talking about. And the meeting also covered several cases. But that's the point. They are actually looking now, that's today, at producing a waiting list and being more transparent in terms of how many tickets are available in ballots and how many people are successful / unsuccessful in those ballots. So it's a baby step forward, I would say.
cool. I mean, it's the way forward. Guys, have you got anything to talk about regarding this? Because, like, obviously, Chris and Wynne spoke at length at lunchtime, well, early lunchtime this morning.
Morning, man. Bloody early morning for me.
Well, it was morning. Well, it was early morning and then going on to
Morning
lunchtime.
when we started anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And these guys were talking about it at length. Is there anything that you guys want to add? Because I've like I say, I've been at the other end of this. So for me, it hurts me because it was my missus who bought me a ticket and paid literally through the teeth to go and watch Spurs play. What do you think? I mean, I would rather watch a European game. If it was a Champions League game, I probably wouldn't have minded so much, depending on who the opposition was, obviously. Is it something that you despise? I mean, what do you agree with what Wynn's saying on the show if you've watched it? You don't mind it going to family, friends and co? Or do you agree that the club would have all those tickets back to repurpose them.
I think
there's a common.
Sorry, Tim.
Cheers. I just think there's a common sense approach for me. Like you can't have a sledgehammer for every single situation, and I don't see an issue where if you've got a ticket and you can't go to the game, then as long as you don't make money off it, then there's nothing wrong with giving it to a friend or family member. For me, so I think you've got to have a bit of leeway and understanding that way. But in terms of these third-party websites, that's a different kettle of fish, and it's down to the club to be putting the foot down on that and stopping that from happening. So it's like, for me, yeah, you want to be able to give your ticket back to the club if you can't go, but at the same time, I think having that leeway where you know your mate can go, you know who your mate is, etc., and you can give it to him or her. I don't see anything wrong with that. I know Chris was kind of saying it should be one or the other, but I just think there's a bit of common sense that needs to be thrown in as well. So that's kind of where I stand.
Okay.
I think it was covered well this afternoon, but the only thing I would say was that there's got to be a little bit of leeway. For example, my brother takes my nephew to the match. Now, if my brother's at work or something, if we had a blanket ban on day transferring tickets, it would mean somebody else couldn't take the youngster to the match. So, like me, his wife, it's normally his wife that takes him. So,
there you go.
You've got to have a little bit of sense in this, in my view.
Yeah, like I say, I totally agree with everybody's sentiment on this. Like I say, I think it has to be a common sense approach, doesn't it? Rather than, like you say, the sledgehammer approach. Right then, let's get into tonight's session. Then, if you like, the early part of the session. Anyway, I just wanted to give a little bit of common ground, if we can, and I hope, especially you, Yano, I hope you guys see all of this, because I'm doing my absolute best here to give everybody the same views. When you look, this is Man City at home against Liverpool, and I'm going to apologise for all the adverts because they'll just keep popping up. And you can see the type of passing segment that they do, heavily through the middle, try and keep the ball all the time. But what I've reckoned, I mean, this is against Liverpool. I mean, I know Liverpool were away, but you can see how much they were pinned back, and just Ekitike virtually out on his own. So didn't have a lot to go by. And when you usually get Mo Salah, you can see Liverpool's out ball is always Mo Salah, very right side dominant. But you can see they're very much penned in. But what was very strange to me was if I put this table on, because what I didn't realise, or I haven't realised for a while, because Newcastle seemed to be, the intensity was the identity, if you like. That was Newcastle's way. But if you look at this, the press sequences, which is the amount of times they trigger a press, Newcastle are still at the top of the group after 11 games. They're still there, just under one press in front of Brighton, if you like. They don't actually cover as many yards as a lot of them do, but they still do cover most of the yards. But what was really interesting in me, if you ever look at Man City, and they're in the bottom half of the table, they don't press. They're thinking, you know what, we'll give you the ball. We won't press you. We may a half press, but we won't press you fully. What they're looking for is you to lose the ball. They're looking to capitalise on when you lose that ball, when they crowd you out in midfield, and then when it comes to pressing sequences and which end in shots, look at the difference. Man City jumped from the bottom half to the top four, and even though they only pressed 9 times, as you can see here, they still end up with a shot 19, just under 20% of the time. Newcastle, even though they press the highest, are in the bottom half, virtually swapping places with Manchester City, and only 15% of the time do they get a shot off. Even though they've got the most press, they only get the shot off. Well, let's say sixth best in that side. So at the bottom of the league. So it just goes to show the difference in performances where you've got one side that'll be a little bit more relaxed, allow you to have the ball in your own third. Then as you start progressing into the middle of the park, they'll try and win the ball back. And that's when that drive comes. It was amazing for me to actually look at that and find a little bit of a where is it that Newcastle are failing at? Because if they're pressing, yes, they haven't got the same players.
But you more or less said it there, haven't you? It's in the middle of the park where we can't string 3 passes together.
It's crazy to think that you could go and press as high up the field as we do, and then you're struggling to actually get any end product from it. You know,
you would have thought if you win it back that high up, then you're going to get chances. You're not going to need to have the most technical players if you win it that high up. So, like you say, Gary, why is it that we're not creating chances from that high up position? That's strange.
Yeah. It's an incredible situation that I find myself in, because I was sat here for the last hour just trying to work out where is it that we're struggling, and what the problem is now is, one, we haven't got the pace up front to actually cover the ground, even though we're still covering a lot of ground. Intent isn't there because you haven't got that pace. So, you know, the Voltamada still covering the yardage. Harvey Barnes still covering the yardage. Jacob Murphy, if you like, he just drops in a little bit. 2 go and press. The other lads stop off. Bruno will step up. But there's always seems at this present moment in time, because the opposition aren't under pressure from that speed, from that initial impact. Now Isaac didn't press hard. You know, he would just go and stand the keeper. You're always reliant on the likes of Anthony Gordon to go and work in those little areas and pockets of space, because that speed stops players getting that first touch, getting the ball under control. It's more hurried, it's more rushed to get clearance. And that's where, if you've noticed in the past, you know, we go back to the PSG game where they try and just dink it out of the box over the top. And it was then, I believe, if memory serves me right, Bruno that heads it back into the danger area, which Isaac, I think, finishes. So when a team isn't under that direct press, as in speed press, not just a press with bodies, where they're not able to get the ball under control, it's far too easy at the moment for that team to clear the ball. Why doesn't Eddie do what Man City does then and say to the lads, come off the press? You don't. If we haven't got the players to do that game, why make them work hard that high up the field of play? You know, the game's over 90 plus minutes now. We know what we can do in our strengths, but at the minute, I still think we are working on the opposition strengths, because them players going high up the field and pressing is leaving a little bit of a door open at the back. So I think Eddie Howe now, if he's going to play the same system, should take that step back and say, lads, just step off, just make a little bit of a block, 3 quarters back. Don't come back to the halfway line, but just step off, let them have the ball, and then try and make a trigger press. Now, in the past, Eddie Howe was always looked at the weakest link of the opposition to trigger. Is there a weakest link in the Man City team?
Yes,
the Man City team is it, but I think with the high press, the main problem is that if you're doing it, we have to play 10 yards further forward with the rest of the players. We're doing that, but the rest of the players are so far back that there's not then the players in advanced positions to be able to back them up if they do win the ball back. So if you've got 2 wingers, or so as you say, one winger in the striker pressing up, and then nobody backing it up behind them, it is, but it's very rare you're going to get anything. You've got to commit to it if you're going to do it, and play the likes of Bruno and
Everybody's got to do it, or nobody does it, type of thing.
They've got to play further forward as well.
Yeah. I
was staggered with the original table you put up showing Newcastle at the top for pressing.
Me too.
But was that pressing in the final third? Because I'm sure I've seen stats. Brighton are there, Brighton and Bournemouth were the two top teams that I saw for pressing in the opponent's third. Now, if you're pressing in midfield, which we've seen a million times this season, we can press in midfield, we'll get the ball, but then give it straight back. So if that's counted, and out of those presses that had us, at the top of the league, how many of those presses were actually successful? It's all very well pressing if you get the ball, but if you press and you don't get the ball, that's when you're in trouble, and that's largely what we've been this season.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, even with this, it doesn't really matter where you look at any of these statistics. I mean, if you look, I mean, there's passes per defensive action, and which is the PPDA. You've got the pressing sequence could be all over the park. What I'm saying is, for me, even if Newcastle are top of the group for pressing from defence all the way up to the forward line, they're still failing to get any end product. To win that ball back and be progressive passing, I mean, for me, this means it's the high turnovers. This is what this is telling me. Obviously, we know Man City have great players on the ball, but they work the channels really well. For Newcastle, what it's telling me is the entire opposite. What Newcastle are doing are winning the balls back, but what they're not doing is getting the ball in spaces, either losing it directly from a pass, or they're not getting into the right areas in the final third to get a shot off. That's what it's telling me. So something has to change, within this formation that Eddie Howe has to do. And that's what we were saying. All the evidence and all the stats are there for all the analytics to talk about and to discuss. And that's why I can't understand why, at this present moment in time, Eddie is kept with the same thing over and over and over again. It didn't make any sense.
It would worry me if the statistician is saying, "Look at Eddie, it's okay, it's going to come good. Look at these stats. You're top of the league." Because, like Boaky says on many occasions, stats are nothing. You got to use your eyes.
Well, maybe it's a case of Man City.
By the way, I do believe in stats.
Well, I think, like with Man City, if like you say, Gary, instead of going full pelt in their faces, in their own third, if we can allow them to come onto us and then press at a certain point where they've pushed up a bit, if we can win the ball then, and there is space in behind for runners to go beyond Volamada, then maybe that's an option, as opposed to trying to press them that high up, not being able to create because they've already got men back, if you like, not even be able to win the ball back in the first place if they play around us and they're in behind us. So maybe, like you say, to compromise that way, and it's a case of getting those runners in behind and doing it when there is space to run in behind. And that means allowing Man City to come on you a little bit, not too much, obviously, but having that compromise.
Do you think, though, going in the system that we've got with Toon Army? I mean, Connor's just sent me a text saying, "Can I ask a question?" And it's something that I believe in, and I think I've stated this several times. Do you think that having Toon Army as the 6 is the problem? Do you think he's wasted?
Well,
you don't think it's a problem?
Unless we can clone him and turn him into the other 3 midfielders, I think.
Well, that would be the ideal.
Yeah, I think he's probably the only one that can really play at 6.
But do you not think he's wasted in the 6?
Oh,
what I'm saying is, we've seen. I mean, I know I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered by saying this, but we've seen Miley coming on board now and being his understudy, if you like. And I don't think the lad plays 100% bad. I just think he needs a lot more game time, and he needs to be mentally aware. But again, that also works out to your teammates to give you that nudge when you're being challenged and you're getting yourself out of a tricky situation. but I think he could be the one that carries us forward. Again, I've been looking at a lot of the work that Miley does, and I know, like I say, Wynn doesn't expect a lot from Miley. But I looked at him when he played for virtually every game when he had to play. Some of that lad's link-up play, when he was playing regular, got us out of jail a lot of the times, and it went unnoticed by a lot. Yes, he's weak. Yes, he can get bounced off the ball a little bit. He needs that mentality. He needs that little bit more, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit more grit. He needs a little bit of J7 in him, if you like, where, like I say, I think sometimes he's the lad that's 40% involved in a tackle rather than, like J7, 60% involved in the tackle. It's mine or you're not going to go any further type of situation. I do think he needs that element of, not nasty, but he needs that bit of grit in him, being in the six. But I just think, Connor's right. And like I say, for me, I think playing Tonali where we play him, we lose a big chunk of Tonali's best football. And we also lose runners. Because if you've noticed recently, in them half spaces, there's been nobody exploring those half spaces between midfield and defence.
The thing is, Gary,
Yes, go on, Tim.
I think I do agree with you. Like long term, a number 6 to allow Tonali to go forward, I think is probably the way to go. But last season, when Tonali went to number 6, everyone said it was the magic wand, and it changed our team. Do you know what I mean? So like
nine wins.
I just think now I agree, and I've been an advocate for Miley to come in for a while now to get more minutes. But while that could definitely help in terms of releasing Tonali now, and it's something I'd do in the future, with it being such a big thing last season where it actually helped us, I'm still scratching my head as to wondering why we still can't operate for now with Tonali a bit deeper and still playing better than what we are,
Was it saying?
as well, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, Gary, get a DM instead of J7 and move Tonali up. Tonali's wasted as a 6, in my opinion. But the problem is, he is the only midfielder we've got with any sort of pace at all for recovery. So that's why he's the one in the 6.
But
he covers every blade of grass. And we are absolutely wasting his attacking threat. Even though, don't get me wrong, I think Bruno is very creative. But he has not got the pace to recover, if and when we lose the ball, more often than not when these days.
I think the problem is as well that if you move Tonali from where he is to forward and put anybody else in that number 6 role, you're going to have to accept that probably you're going to concede 10 to 15% more goals. That lad, as you say, has got the one that's got the pace to cover things. He's got the football and brain. So if this is no offence to what's the young lad called, like Miley, but if you put him there, I think you have to accept that the team's going to concede more goals than it does at the minute. Well,
it hasn't though, mate. Miley was in that spot when we played a strong Tottenham side. They scored no goals.
But no, you're talking a one-off game. I mean, if you're talking long-term, putting Miley there, he's not Tonali. He's not going to be able to cover the way Tonali does in that position.
No,
as tough as it sounds, him being the size he is, he's not as physical as Tonali is. He's more elegant, isn't he?
He's not going to break up the players, so you're not going to have that as you say, with that more physical element. And the football, as I said, it's all about football and brain. And maybe for Tonali, he's just a natural. He naturally knows where he's got to be, and that's both in the number 6 or the number 8 position. But I think at the minute we won't have another player that can play number 6, and that's if it hit his level. That would have to accept we're going to concede more goals if we move Tonali forward.
I think get Ramsey in if you want runners. Do you know what I mean? Going forward, I would have Ramsey in if we're going to be playing the same formation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ramsey does like that movement forward. It's like I said, for me, we've got, Willock likes to move forward, Ramsey likes to move forward, J7 likes to move forward. But for me, you still, out of all of those players, potentially, Ramsey's got that ability to unlock a door, but I still haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean? I want a player to play on that channel where not only is he going to be able to see, and we've seen it from Toon Army over and over and over again, when he steps up into that final third, that he can deliver a ball, a gracious little ball over the top for other players to feed off. He has got the vision. The difference being, he's also got the shot on him. The difference being, he's also got that aggression. So if the ball does ricochet, you've got more of a chance to win that ball back still high up the field than any of the other players that apart from J7. The biggest thing though with J7, and I say it, the lads, I love J7. I mean, out of everybody, as daft as it looks, my one shirt that I wore last night, I got J7 on, because that first year that he played in midfield, I thought that was the best I have ever seen J7 play in a black and white shirt. He was absolutely outstanding. And, my missus said to me, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to have the away shirt." And she bought it with me, and she got the J7 badge on. And I'm like, I don't usually have names of players on my back, but I've got J7. So it's like I said, for me, it's not a case of him can't do a job. I just don't think that's the right role for him. Do you know what I mean? When he's going box to box, which is great, but if you have a look, have a close look at his end product at the final third, it's not great. And I think that's what I'm saying. We need somebody that can start to give us that end product, just to start unlocking defences and getting us more shots on goal. But we also need somebody to fill the void.
Naaman Boaky, January transfer, proper number 6.
Completely agree. It would
be lovely if we could get a Canty in.
What I'm seeing is we haven't got that at the minute. We haven't got anybody else that can step in, that can do the job that Toon Army does.
Yeah.
Maybe do it to a degree, but not to the same level.
I'm just having a look.
The other point is as well, there was a point when Eddie was here that he was saying that we wouldn't play number 6, that the three midfielders.
Don't play with a 6 or a 10. We'll play 4-3-3, fluid. Yeah, they all interchange.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a fluid formation.
Yep, that got through out the window, didn't it? And when Toon Army went back to the number 6 position.
It has.
Well, you're saying he plays. He plays the most defensive of the 3, but he's literally. If you look at Toon Army's heat map, man, it's literally all over the pitch. So he's not strictly playing as a 6. He's just. I think he's got a free role basically.
He's not playing a Canty number 6, is he? He's playing a...
No, definitely not.
He's playing a more free number 6.
Yeah. He is. I have got some something to put on regarding that, because you can see the difference between the two. This is Toon Army's heat map, if you like, and you can see, the strengths and where he is just from that. And it's a strange thing, because if I was now to put Miley's on there, where do you think it'd be?
Can I just ask what way around that is, Gary? So I'm guessing
left to right usually. Left to right is attacking, if you like. So you can see all his strong spots. You can see where he is strong with his touches, his dribbling, and chances created. And these are the areas. But again, if you wanted an all-round midfielder, this pizza pie for me is absolutely, without shadow of a doubt, like I say, that even keel. You can play anywhere in the middle of the park, but it's this part for me that I want to start seeing a little bit more. 57 shots, 32 goals. You know what I mean? That's what the lad can give you. If I was to put, let me just put Miley's on now, because you'll see a difference with Lewis Miley. Where are you, Lewis? I've just had you. There you are. Lewis Miley. Right, now let me just put Lewis Miley's on here. Because what I can see here, where are you? Position map. Oh, that's not what I want. I want your heat map. It's not as red, and I understand that, but you can see he covers exactly the same amount of ground. But what you haven't got here is his pizza pie, because he hasn't had that many games for anybody to analyse it. But again, if you look at where he's covering, it's exactly the same spots as what Tonali's covering. So he is going to be that number 6 or the deep lying midfielder. Like you say, Eddie Howe doesn't like to play that number 6 role per se. It's a fluid role. One goes, one sits, and he wants that from all three of them. And we've seen that over the days. But I still think that is his undoing. Because what you've often seen, and especially against the Brentford-West Ham games, none of us wanted to move forward. None of them wanted to defend half the time. It was static. It was a static 3 in midfield. And sometimes there's no outball. And that's why I think Lewis Hall coming into this side will make a massive, massive difference to that outball from the back, from the midfield. Obviously, depending on where and who plays. I think Lewis Hall you'll see a change in the way Newcastle play the ball out. He can be the one person that unlocks that problem that Eddie Howe has. Yeah, fingers crossed, exactly. But you can see the comparison that I've been looking at today is, can Lewis Hall do a job as a 6 or in midfield as a fluid? Well, yeah, he can. Can he do it the same as Tonali? No, he can't. That is, like I say, it's like saying to yourself, look, I'll let you do this one. Because Tonali's eating it. Oh, you're muted, Win. You're muted, dude.
I am saying Miley hasn't got a pizza pie because Tonali's eating it with her spoons. And gosh, for
yeah, exactly. And for me, these are all the things that are interesting. You know, when I look at the
talking about pizza pie, but if you go back to that heat map just for a sec, guys.
His heat map.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Because I said I would have expected it to be all the way around the centre circle, and if you look at the dark pinks.
Yeah.
That's kind of the pattern, the format. And I used to say about Sean Longstaff, I could never understand what he did. And to me, Sean Longstaff used to mark the referee in the centre circle. It'd be interesting to know where the referee was when he's everywhere else. But back in those days, a year or so ago, I was outside B&Q's, and this guy recognised me when we're talking, and it was when the whole Longstaff debate was in full swing, and I was saying, you know, don't ask me what the hell he does. All I know is that when he's in the team, we'll get better results. And I said to him, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I watch him week in, week out. He does nothing. All he does is mark the centre circle in the referee. And he says, do you know why that is? I said, no. He says, where does the referee go on the pitch all the time?
Where there's space.
Well, there's got to be space there, but also he's got to be able to see
the play,
all of the action. And Sean Longstaff, if he's following the referee, he can see exactly what's building up that. And again, referees by and large, if they can help it, because they don't want necessarily to run back and forwards and back and forwards, they do tend to hover around the centre circle, because from there they can see all areas of the pitch without having to run to keep up.
Yeah.
So it kind of made a lot of sense, but I don't see how you're getting involved then. That was my point.
I think
It was always the out ball, I think that was.
I think the look at their win would be that it sounds like he was basically had the fan with the best seat in the house. So he wasn't trying to get involved in play; he was trying to watch what was happening.
Yeah, and now you can see what I've got on the screen now is Bruno's. Like I say, again, another complete midfielder, if you like. And this is why I said sometimes you've got to get the best out of your midfield, and sometimes you do have to sacrifice certain individuals. But for me, Tonali and Bruno, being our most accomplished midfielders, need to be played in the areas that they can hurt the opposition. And like I say, for me, it just seems a little bit of a shame that we're not utilising Tonali in a more advanced situation. I totally agree that we should be doing the fluidity. I don't think anybody should be static, especially if you're not playing the 4-2-3-1 system. And even with a 4-2-3-1 system, I still think you have to have movement. Is there anything that you want to add to this, Tim? Go on, mate.
Well, what I was going to super chat in there saying that when Miley comes in, he's basically covering Dan Burn because he's invariably there because J7's out.
Well, I just think that while you still want to have some fluid movement, I think we do miss having a player in there who has the nous to read the game defensively when we don't have the ball and to pick up those positions. And that fluid movement has came at cost to us, I think, at times where we have looked too open, especially away from home, when we lose the ball and there's that big gap. And all of a sudden, the opposition have got like a half chance there, get a shot off. So I do agree going forward. And number 6, who has that mindset, yes, you don't want to be too static, but has that defensive mindset, I think would help us a lot. I mean, whether Howe would do that or not, it's probably doubtful. And like you say, it would help release Tonali to go a bit more further forward as well. But for right now, whether it's Tonali or somebody else, I think we just need to plug that gap a bit because there are times where we are far too open when we lose the ball in those areas.
Yeah. I'll just put Tonali's to J7's on there because, like I say, we might as well complete the midfield. Does this surprise you guys at all? J7's positioning?
Not at all.
More or less exactly what I would have expected.
Yeah. Quite strong covering the left-hand side, isn't he? Like
very much so.
Very.
Is that not the issue though? If we are, I know we're dominant on that left-hand side, especially with if Anthony Gordon and Louis Saul are involved. We do like to play those triangles in and around those pockets of space. But is that not the issue here, though? If we've got a 6 who's covering everywhere.
But actually, it's perfect if you think about it, because you've got Bruno there covering all that ground on the left. J7 covering all that ground on the left. And Bruno's that you showed was basically covering everything on the right, including his hot spots, which, as we know, are on the right-hand side of the box, where they try the triangles.
But when Bruno's hotspots are a lot more further forward.
All this here, from box to box, if you look at the parallel lines, Tonali goes a little bit further out, but Bruno actually covers the box between literally the 18-yard lines. So he is very much, even though he goes a little bit on this right-hand side, that is Bruno's territory. And that seems to be Tonali's territory. What I'm saying to you is, are we asking too much of the 2 midfielders and not enough of J7? Because literally J7 has got that left-hand side to cover, going forward, going backwards. And as you can see, he just drops into the midfield to right, the mid-centre to right-hand side going forward. Is that the falling down now? If we're talking fluidity, are we asking too much of 2 and not enough of the third one?
Well, the trouble is, you're showing, and I assume that's where they are when they get a touch.
The hot spots, is where there are most of the touches. The deeper the pink, it's where they've had most of the touches.
You don't get marked for being there if you're doing nothing there.
No, that's what I said. If you've had a touch, that's where you'll get the
In
shades
those
of
areas.
pink. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see for me, he's playing left back, left midfield, left wing, inside left, but he's not really, apart from a couple, he's not really a midfielder.
Just out of
So for
interest,
me-
is there anything
go on.
that tells you there how many touches each of those shades of pink represent?
Yeah. So if I go on them, 6 touches in that position there, look. Go
So
on to this one, 7 touches in that one. 2 touches in this one. So if you go up to here, look, he hardly has a lot of touches in the box. It's just the odd touch, which is what you expect, to be fair. But, you know, in and around these areas, he's having lots of touches going down into that left back. And again, you know, covering for the likes of Dan Burn in the absence of Hall. You know, you can see that. You can see that he'd got a task to do. But he does this all the time. This is Premier League, as you can see, all. Right? So I'm not looking at just one specific game or anything else. I'm trying to cover everything. This is J7's role. And I think we are losing a midfielder because he's too wide. We try and do a lot more pressing on that left-hand side, and we try and attack their right fullback. And if you look at a lot of the teams today, apart from Man City, because I think Man City's outlet's going to be Kieran Trippier's issue. Because I think Doku is going to be the one that will get pinged most times
certainly latterly
on our left-hand side. So, like I said, if we play J7, I don't know whether he's fit or not. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen or heard anything about J7, to be fair. We'll know more tomorrow morning. But for me, I think if we continue to do this and congest that left-hand side with bodies, we're leaving a lot of the midfield and the right-hand side exposed. And where have we been hit most in previous games? Through the middle of the park. I'm talking West Ham and Brentford. It was through that middle section. And that's why I said, do we need to address that? And that was my idea today, to try and get something, to try and get a bit of balance in this side.
Well, what I was saying, there's nobody knows more about fluid movement than him.
Yeah, you need to go and see urology, mate. Have you got anybody starred? Have you got anything that's being said in the chat?
Yeah.
Apart from Wazza, obviously, with his super chats. Thanks, mate.
We've got Jordan saying, what do you think the lineup will be with Dan Burnout?
Well, we're going to come to that in a minute.
Okay. And Steve is saying, very interesting question. How many points do we need out of the next 6 league games? And more importantly, how many do you think we'll get?
6 league games.
Those 6 games are City at home, Everton away,
Everton away. Yeah.
Spurs at home, Burnley at home, Sunderland away, and Chelsea at home. So we've got 4 home games and 2 away. And then just before the turn of the year, we've got Man U away and Burnley away.
I mean, if you could get into
double figures. So we're playing
figures,
Burnley twice in the next 8.
Yeah, I think if you can get into double figures, I would say, somebody's put in there, Prince of Chaos has put 12. I said double figures. I think you'd be good
6.
doing okay. Yeah, out of the 6. I think 11, 12 points, somewhere like that, I think you'd be good. And that would obviously move you back up that table comfortably. The problem is...
So I assume then, just to take that point, double figures, 12 points. So you're assuming Spurs home, Burnley home?
Yeah.
Sunderland away?
Yeah.
That's 9.
And then you've got a draw.
And then you've got Everton away.
I think that'll be a draw.
That's 10. And City.
Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
I think we'll lose. Yeah, I think Chelsea will be a draw. And I think we'll lose to City. So I said 11 points.
Yeah, that's right. That's 11.
Even the way we're playing right now, Gary?
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to turn it around and get those?
I think it's like I said. I think it's the first time in Eddie's tenure, and again, even at the presentation, we did the talk yesterday about Eddie's presentation and going into the Hall of Fame. I think Eddie looks uncomfortable, and it's the first time since he's been here in these 4 years that he's actually shouted the players out. And I think, when you get into that scrutiny, when you're starting to be highlighted that there's a problem, and again, it's been highlighted from the man himself. And I think sometimes when the manager, the coach, whatever you want to call them, comes forward and starts spouting there's an issue and we need to address that, a change is a must. And like I said, because now what people are going to say, and Wynn's great at doing the old doing the same thing twice. What is it, Wynn?
If you do the same thing repeatedly and you don't get a different result, and you expect a different result, the definition of insanity, my friend.
There you go. So for me,
to keep repeating the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
Different outcome, yeah. And I think that is where Eddie Howe needs to look, and he needs to either make a change in personnel, or he needs to change the system to try and get the best out of the personnel that he's got to choose from. So when you become, like I say, highlighted, the fact that you are the coach, you're the ones that the tactician, you're the one who's picking this team, you're the one that's picking this tactic, all of a sudden the spotlight doesn't go on Mad Dog, doesn't go on anybody else in that coaching system, doesn't go on any of the analysts. It goes on him. He has to make a decision. He has to make a difference to the outcome of the games coming forward. May not be against Man City, because like I say, this is a tough acid test. But you often get a knee-jerk reaction playing against the top 6 sides. We've seen it in the past from Newcastle. We've played poorly, then all of a sudden, everybody predicts them getting absolutely took off the park. And they come and get you a draw. They come and turn up.
Steve is just making the point that, by the way, in amongst those 6 league games, we've got 3 cup games against Marseille, Fulham and PSV.
PSV, yeah.
And then you've got potential side legs. You've got the rotation at play. Will he rotate? Will he not rotate? So that will potentially dictate how well we do in those league games as well, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing is as well, if he doesn't get double points out of them 6 games, so if it's not at least 10 points, then if he's not gone already, he'll be in serious trouble.
He will.
If he only picks 9 points up out of them, or even less, then
you've got to start questioning it then, Boaky. Yeah. That's what I said. We all said Christmas will be the time, and I know Steve was saying that he won't be here for Christmas because you guys had the jumpers on. I hope Boaky likes his new jumper, by the way.
About 6.
And I saw Steve come in the chat saying he won't be here for Christmas, and I think that tells. And like I say, when you're being questioned at a presentation that you've just been put into the Hall of Fame about whether you are going to make a change, it states something, and Eddie Howe has to respond to that. So he's under everybody's spotlight. Go on, mate.
I agree, Gary, that he'll definitely be looking at it and trying to find a solution. And that when I've seen him as well in recent weeks at the games as well, I've thought he's looked a bit tense, a lot more tense than I've ever seen him before. So he's not stupid, like you say, Gary. He knows what the situation is. He knows the pressure's on, and I've got no doubt he's working diligently to try and come up with something. And I hope he does. I really do hope he does. But we will see as to whether the changes, like you say, in personnel or tactics come about. And like you say, Man City, it's hard to judge completely because they're such a good side at the moment. But over the next few weeks, I think we'll get an answer as to how he's trying to combat this situation.
But what we don't want either is the likes of the Win and them coming on saying, if we lose to Man City, it's because it's Man City. If we lose to Everton, it's because they've got the new stadium and it's all the fans are behind them and everything's happening down there. we've got to start being. The more this run goes on with poor results, the more we have to get more critical of Howe, and everybody does, not just myself, but we all need to get further down that line of saying this isn't good enough.
But Eddie still loves you.
Yeah, there you go. Love it. There you go, Boaky.
I think that means Eddie Howe's my number one fan.
Yeah, there is that, Macy. There is that. I mean, listen, well, Toon Assassin there is whacking in that Claudio Ranieri back in 2016 won the Premier League. I think he was the last manager to win a trophy using a 4-4-2 formation. Obviously a fluid 4-4-2 actually, which is the old style of football, which nobody goes to anymore, apart from the odd occasion. But it's as daft as it looks.
So are you saying Mahrez was the two with Vardy?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mahrez was more on the right hand side. But
exactly.
What they used to do was one would drop, one would stay high. So Harvey Barnes on the left hand side, Mahrez was out on the right hand side. But periodically, what you would get is one stepping out in the middle and playing up. So it's more of a 4-4-1-1. It was a fluid 4-4-2, but it worked because Vardy always gave you the outball, and at that point and that season, everything he touched turned to gold. And I think that is the difference. Sometimes you have one of those strikers, and don't get me wrong. I mean, we've had it ourselves. You take Isak's goals away from where. Take Isak's goals away from our few seasons, would we have finished anywhere near the top 10? No, we wouldn't. So it just goes to show that if you've got somebody who can hit the back of the onion sack, hit the net on a regular basis, doesn't matter what happens elsewhere, as long as you're getting those results. And that's what I said. It needs one of those performances. Let me ask you guys now, if Newcastle on Saturday go out there and perform well and lose by the odd goal, maybe 2 goals, would you hold your hand up and say, like we did against Liverpool, you know what? We've lost, but I'll accept that because you've tried. Isn't that the motto?
Well, I just want to see a reaction. So, I know that obviously you want to get the result. And we're at the stage now of the league table where the result is paramount. But the way we've been playing against Brentford, West Ham, the performance has been absolutely nowhere. Well, exactly. A lot of games this season, and you're looking at it, and there's no identity. It's a mishmash of different things going on. So, the first things first, I want to see more cohesion. I want to see a plan and a reaction from what's happened before in terms of responding to what's happened, whether it's a selection of players, whether it's a formation. When you look at the Bilbao game, we beat Bilbao 2-0. But I think everyone could see in that game, it wasn't a great performance, was it? Do you know what I mean? And lo and behold, the next game against Brentford isn't very good. So, yes, we won Bilbao, but the signs still weren't that great. So I just want to see a spark where even if we don't get the points against Man City, moving forward, you can see there's an idea there, a springboard to go off in terms of performance, in terms of tactics and effort and cohesion. But ideally, obviously,
Boaky will definitely be able to thumb his chest if we get, if we get beat off City.
But you forget when I'm a Newcastle fan, the last thing I want is us to get beat off.
Because that will be my reason, not excuse. If we do get turned over by City, I think we'll win. But as Tim's just said, I want to see pressing football back again. I want to see us passing the ball forwards, not sideways. I want to see some change, some identifiable change.
But let's not make excuses before the match even goes. All know Man City are a good team, but we're a good team as well. Go out, attack them and try to win. And go
exactly. That's what I want to say. But
you aren't trying to find excuses already. For the
no, what I'm saying is if we do that, and it's noticeable, and we still fall short.
But then again,
That's
that's making an
football.
excuse. You
But
need to
anyway,
win
hold
for
on.
them.
I'm
You
saying
want
you
them
can
to
sit
win.
there going, I told you that's what he would say. I'm
Yeah,
telling
but
you, I'll say it now.
Boaky, isn't that the same situation Eddie got criticised in, though? Because he went out to beat Liverpool with 10 men.
But do
And he
not
got criticised for stepping up for that.
But I never criticised him for that.
No, but generally people do, though.
He did, but I'm saying that then if we're going in, the problem is we'll do this week. We'll go into next week with the Everton game, and it'll be, well, if we only get a draw or we don't win, Everton's got the new stadium. Don't forget they've got all the fans behind them. It's like an exciting time for them, and you're looking for excuses there again. I'm saying don't go into our games looking for excuses.
But I don't think a lot of fans would go into an Everton game like that. I think that if you saw some signs against Man City that could be transferable to the Everton game, then you would say, okay, we need the result now along with that performance. And if that didn't happen against Everton, then I think questions rightly then would be asked.
But all I'm saying is just don't look for the excuses before the game. We all know Man City's a great team. We know they're a brilliant team, and we know for a fact that it's going to be hard for us to beat them. However, go into the game with the attitude of everyone going into the game with the attitude of we're going to win this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. If you see a turnaround and like we are, say we go 1-0 down, then we bring it back to 2-1, and in the last 5 minutes, we see City just turn it on and they score 2 late goals. Do we then go, that was your fault, even though you've gone out there to win? Because we know, the biggest thing for me, and we've seen it, at this present moment in time, Newcastle don't know how to hold on to a lead. That is the mentality at this present moment in time.
This game isn't going to settle any argument, is it? Let's face it.
Never.
But in regards to what I'm saying is, yes, we might come away with a loss. I've got no doubt in my mind that there's a big chance of that. But what I'm saying is, don't go into this game making excuses already, saying that we have lost. We haven't. We're going in there. We're going in there. We'll go in there to win. And so we should be discussing how we get the win, not if we play well and lose. Is that good enough?
Yeah, I mean, that's
a discussion for after the game, not before.
Yeah.
That would be my argument.
With it being Man City, I think this game more than any other, I think there are more eyes on it. As in, what is Eddie going to do? How are we going to play? More so in the past, where you think it's Man City, tough game, let's give it a go. But now I think a lot of people are at the stage where it's a tough team, but I really want to see something. I want to see something that gives us hope and that spark.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ashington's just put in the chat there, look, I see us losing, but if we play like we did against West Ham, we might lose 6-0. Does that put a different emphasis on it, though?
I think if we play like we do against West Ham again, that is his time up. If we go into a home game like that, there's absolutely no chance that he can survive that.
Yeah. If you can't be bothered to block shots, then it will be a cricket score against them.
Yeah.
There you go. I just want to say thank you to Foxy for, obviously, it was Akazaki played up front with Vardy, with Leicester. And you're right, mate. All Brighton played on the left-hand side during that year. I thought they bounced off each other, but you're absolutely right. I've just checked. Barnes coming the next year. So, yeah, you're right. It was all Brighton left-hand side and Mahrez on the right. So, yeah, thanks for that one. I love Foxy. He's like my backup. Whenever I get something wrong, he's there. I mean, I've got to put Foxy's back up again. It's not an excuse, really, because they have had the better of us now for how many years? 6 years. You know what I mean? So it's not as if this is a thing of that doesn't come to haunt us every time we're there. It seems as if we are unfortunately doomed against certain teams. 3-1 up against City, and we go ahead and make the draw. And yet that to me was the best opportunity to get the win, the elusive win against them. And that was one of, I remember.
Your mic's gone funny for me.
Bob, go on.
Has it gone funny for everybody else?
Quite for me, man.
Tinny. Very tinny.
Oh, is it? I don't know why. I haven't touched anything. Oh, I haven't. Look at my hands here. I don't know. We're going to have a look then at the formations, and like I say, we'll go through what you potentially think will be the lineup facing Man City. We'll be straight back after this.
NUFC Early Night News with Gary DeJordy Yum Yum, Andrew Boaky, and Derek the Mighty Wind. Weekdays from 7:30 p.m. UK, 1:30 p.m. USA. NUFC.
There you go. So that was me. I cut that off a little bit early. I pressed the wrong button. I always do that. Fingers and thumbs when it comes to doing stuff like this. So I've got on the on the pitch now is the team that played against Liverpool for Man City. Donnarumma, O'Reilly on the left-hand side, Guardiola and Diaz, the two centre-backs. Nunez is the right back with the three midfield. A bit of a different setup against Liverpool with Foden, Gonzalez and Silva. Cherky on the right-hand side, Doku on the left-hand side and Haaland up top. I have literally just gone the same team, apart from, obviously, I've put Louis Hall in there because we know Dan Burn isn't available for Newcastle. And I've gone Ramsdale because, obviously, I did this before I knew that there was no concussion for Pope. So let's start then with you guys. Let's talk about Ramsdale and Pope because I think this is one of those debates that could go on forever. It's an either-or situation. But if Eddie Howe wants to play from the back, surely Ramsdale has
Gary,
to start.
while we'll talk about Ramsdale, do you want to quickly jump out and jump back in again because your sound's gone really weird?
Okay, will do.
So on the subject of Ramsdale, guys, I think, am I right in saying we would all have him in?
Yeah.
100%. But it'll be poor players, I think we'll accept that as well.
Right, and
if ever there was a time to bring in Ramsdale, it's now, really, isn't it?
No, but do you see Howe doing it? Do you think he actually will? Or because I think it'll be Pope, if I'm honest.
I do as well, based on the comments that Eddie Howe made. I think it was last night, was it at the dinner 2 nights ago, whenever it was. And I know he's maybe keeping his cards close to his chest potentially, but I just get the feeling that it will be Pope again, and I think it's a strange one. I know Eddie Howe is very conservative as to when he brings players into the side, but like I said, Pope's look shaky. His confidence doesn't look great. Now is the time if you're going to give Ramsdale a run. And I mean, Pope isn't the worst keeper ever. Obviously, he could come in of a blinder. I wouldn't rule that out. But I just think if Ramsdale's been brought in, then you've got him for a reason.
I'm 100%. I can see no reason at all for Ramsdale not to be given a shot on Saturday after Pope's, iffy, to say the least, performance against West Ham. He shipped 6 goals in his last 2 games. Time for a change, as we say. And that's what I'm hoping for against Man City. I want to see a complete change.
Do you think he'll change it when? Do you think he will?
Fingers crossed. I mean, like I say, for me, does that sound better, or is it still the same? I still think there is an element to whatever Eddie decides to do. He has to approach the game with a way of playing in mind. So if he wants ball playing from the back forward, and again, we know that Man City aren't the full pressing team. They'll wait for you to lose the ball in and around the midfield. So if that's the situation, does it mean that you risk not playing Ramsdale? Because for me, Ramsdale, with the way he plays the ball, again, I don't know who's going to be available up top because, again, if we know that Man City like to press on and really squeeze from the midfield into the final third, there's always an out ball. But you've still got to have somebody with pace that can get onto that out ball. And for me, that's why I would go with Ramsdale, because we've seen many times during his Arsenal games, he can kick a ball like a pass. So if there's an out or the chance to get in and behind a high line from Man City, then Ramsdale for me must be the guy in between the sticks. And if I'm honest with you, I do believe now that we've seen enough of what Pope can do and can give you. And we've seen how the defence doesn't seem to have the, it's the confidence. They don't seem to have the confidence with giving Pope the ball back without there being some type of repercussion. I mean, Malik Chow has put him in a couple of times where you just think, oh, Malik, no.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You'll soon learn. You know, Botman does it on the occasion, and you can see Popey turns his body, and then what he'll do, if he gets under a bit of pressure, he just get kicked out for a throw-in. And you're like, you might as well have just kicked it down the field. You know, when you had the ball, Botman, and you had the opportunity just to boot it forward, you might as well have done that, because now we're back under pressure. So I think there has to be a time now for me that a change is inevitable, and it starts with your keeper. If playing from that back line is what Eddie wants to achieve with this team, you must start with a ball playing keeper. Else there is no point in changing the system.
Wazza did make a good point in the chat there, Gary, that whichever keeper plays, they are going to be busy. So, in which case, if you're looking for just a shot stopper for the game, would it be Pope? Would that be maybe the reason Eddie would give for playing him?
But that's the problem, isn't it? You know, we're going back to the old tried and tested again. You know, you're not changing it up to make a difference. You're just going, well, you know what? You give me that 1 or 2% extra with your feet. He gives me that 1 or 2% extra with his hands. And to be fair, I want a keeper that claims the ball in the air, not punches it. Because that, to me, is more dangerous than he's kicking. Because you're punching it if you can get to it. I mean, against Brentford, those long throws, he came for 4 and punched none of them. So, you know, you've got to say to yourself, if you're not happy at this present moment in time, whether it's a mental thing, whether there's something that's not giving us the confidence in that keeper, you've got to change him. You have to change him. And that's what I said. If Eddie needs to make a statement, start with what is a vulnerable point. Yes, he can say he could do shot stopping, but what else can he give you?
Yeah, I was going to say, Gary, I think I agree with that in that it's a message to the rest of the team. You're planting your flag down to say, look, fresh start, new ideas. We're going to be going again from this game. And psychologically, the players, the rest of the team, I think will feel that if it is a changing goal. So there's that factor as well as the technical aspects that you've spoken about there that I think is at play for this decision.
Yeah. Right full-back there. Let's start with the right back. I can't see Kieran Trippier dropping, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, we've only really got Emil Kraft to come in situ. I don't think any of the kids will be available because they'll play Friday. Any difference, guys?
No.
Oh, trips for me.
And by the way, isn't this the problem that, as we've said a million times, if we can pick the team, then top coaches can pick the team as well.
Well, like I say, for me, I think whoever plays on this right-hand side is going to have an absolute day and needs to be switched on. Now, you know, as much as I love Trippier and what he's done and given to Newcastle, but with Doku in this side, very similar to, you know, if you like, Salah on the right hand side for Liverpool, does it limit him going forward? Are we going to miss out on the likes of Trippier then gallivanting forward, or do we gamble and force that? Knowing full well you've got the likes of Tonali, obviously that's who we're going to obviously look for to play that 6 to cover that right-hand side if and when Trippier moves forward to support whoever plays on that right wing.
And Chow now, of course.
Well, obviously, and Chow, but again, you know, you've got Haaland. I think there'll be 2 on Haaland most of the time, if I'm honest with you.
I think that's a tricky situation with Trippier and Doku, because for me, I'd want to get Trippier involved in the game and for him to help out Voltemeda in terms of assisting, in terms of those passes and crosses and link-up play. But like you say, he's going to have his absolute hands full with Doku. And that's why I wouldn't be totally averse to playing with wing-backs, so that he has got a bit more cover behind him and he has got more license to actually affect the game going forward.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Wing-backs then. You think Eddie will try a 3 at the back with wing-backs?
I wouldn't have thought at home in the position that he's in at the minute.
Shea, Chow and Botman.
Drop
You've got, you have got, 2 ball-playing centre-backs there with Chow and Botman, with Chow and Shaw. So you have got an out, and, they are very well at progressing the ball forward. And again, what do you lose? Do you lose anything if you go on that system that we've played before, where you have that left side goes forward into the 6 role, if the likes of J7 or whoever's playing that left side goes and progresses forward? You've got Shaw then that can go into midfield if the likes of Bruno goes forward. So you've always got numbers in certain areas depending on the way the game is flowing. I am not, and I will never say, you should never say you can't play 3 at the back, because everybody goes, oh, we don't want to play 5 at the back. Well, you're not. You play a 3-4, whatever system you want to play up top. All you're doing is you're moving one player from the back line and moving him into midfield. So instead of playing 4-3-3, you play a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-2-1, whichever way you want to work it.
Is the other problem with doing that as well? No, that would get completely overrun in midfield.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to have the right bodies in the right areas then, because if you haven't, you do get overrun in midfield, and that's why I said if you play a 3-4 system, then for me, I always go with the diamond. So I play a 3-4, then I'll play a 1 and a 2 up top, because that then separates the 2 centre backs. And it stops one of their fullbacks going forward. If you play one guy up front, trust me, defenders, all day, every day, carry on. If you've got no pace against me, carry on, lad, because I'll just pull him across if I have to cover there. It's too easy. When you've got 2 bodies, when you've got dual bodies, not only have you got to work out your own person that you've been asked to man mark, but you've also got to have one eye on the other person that sometimes want to drift in off the shoulder. So it's about communication then. Go on, mate.
Aye, sorry, but just one thought I had was with that formation is that you could have Volta dropping in to help out with the midfield, because I know what you mean, Boaky. Obviously, you don't want to be outnumbered there. Mm-hmm. But if he can drop in, then it also gives license for Barnes and Murphy to run beyond and have those deep runs causing problems for Man City centre-backs. It's obviously harder to pick up when you're running from deep.
So exactly. Who we dropping? J7?
Yes.
So let's just put it out there. This is how you think it could potentially work. I'm going to put.
Well, this is what I don't know if you'll do this, but this is a thought I had as to what.
Yeah, with Tripping on the right hand side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to have Fabian Shaw and Chow that side.
Yeah, and it gives you that fluid movement. And so Volta-Maida's got 2 men running beyond him, ahead of him, and he can then play his football. He can do what he wants to do in terms of that number 10 role. Who I said on the show 2 nights ago, who would you want the ball to fall to in the box if it's not Volta-Maida out of anybody in the squad? For me, it's those 2, Barnes and Murphy, in terms of finishes.
Well, they've both got shots on them. I mean, it's like we were talking last night. I mean, for me, watching the German game again, playing Volta-Maida in that system, the 4-2-3-1 system, even in that system where he was number 9, if you like, he wanted to drop into this midfield pocket here and dictate. He wanted to dictate. He wanted players running in behind and him take control of the ball and move it. I wouldn't be adverse to this because you have got variants of the same rule, if you like. If you go on a defensive, you get these 2 guys dropping out either side. You've gone back to virtually where you were before. You're only running on the angles. Again, for me, it's about making a decision that affects our team and changes the mind of the opposition coach. sometimes, like I said, we are all far too easy in making. We pick the side most of the weeks. And I think that is sometimes how easy Eddie Howe makes it our job when we're doing these previews or the review of the match. It's a case of when you have a very little pool to pick from, it's so easy to pick 11 players that are going to start. What I want to see is a formation change that will change Pep's mentality. Because, yes, Pep can look at a team sheet and say, I really expected that team to play, but I didn't expect them to play in this formation. That makes the opposition coach change his approach to the game. And if the ball isn't flowing the way he expects it to flow with Man City, and again, Man City are very confident at the minute with the ball, how can we change that? How can we dominate the ball at home? Simple things like this. Play in triangles. You've got Lewis Hall, work that left-hand side. And for me, watching Toon Army at international level playing that left side midfield, he works that system an absolute treat. And again,
ball
yes.
as well. Them two
exactly.
combine brilliantly. And obviously Barnes coming inside left, outside. Technical player as well.
If he drops even 10 yards, I mean, for me, if you think about it, what we struggled with in the past is passing lanes. We've never really had the ability to pass a ball 5 or 10 yards. It's always just in front of them or just behind them. It's never into feet. What I want to start seeing is players just move back 5 or 10 yards, very similar to the way West Germany played against Luxembourg. Yet it was only Luxembourg. But if it wasn't for their movement, they will never score goals against the opposition. It was the movement that got them the opportunity to score goals. And that happens against any opposition. You have to task them with difference. And at the minute, we are too ordinary with a standard setup. So for me, I think that could work. But I'm not Eddie Howe.
I would have serious concerns with that setup there in regards to the centre-backs just heading it out to the wings and them being able to double up on both sides for us with the wing backs, whatever you want to call them.
So what? So you think if the ball comes into this situation here,
if the ball goes up front, the likes of Murphy isn't a hold-up player, neither as Barnes necessarily. So if Walter wins it, plays it forward to them, they lose it. We're doubled up. They're doubled up on each wing.
So do you not think then that these guys will have dropped in to pick the ball up? If Donnarumma gets the ball, he's looking for an out. He kicks it long for Cherky, who's running down the line. Lewis Hall's with him. Chow goes out there and heads it. This is what I said. It's all about reacting to the situation. 5-yard runs. If Chow then decides to head up here, you want somebody like Barnes being able to take on the ball, because we know Lewis Hall has done his work and he's covered his man. Chow is just here to be protector. He should always be the one that picks up that loose ball or doubles up on the player if Cherky gets it.
But you're showing three players getting to that ball. What I'm saying is, sorry, who they got? I can't see the screen properly. Who got them playing at left back?
At their left back.
Sorry, at their right back.
That's Nunes, who played against Liverpool.
So if Nunes, Shaw's back in position. If Nunes, you had Barnes in the centre.
Yeah. So usually what happens?
So, you put Barnes back in the centre.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There you go.
And then you push Nunes forward as well. Shaw's not going to go that far out all the time, as I say. And then you've got that on the other side as well. We're open ourselves up on the wings, I think, doing that.
Well, let me just show you usually what happens then. So when Donnarumma has the ball, usually what the fullbacks do is give options, right? So you've got players that will split this side on the edge of the box like we do normally. Then you'll get somebody like Gonzalez to come on. Lewis Hall can go and step in. Trippier can go and step in. And then you've got Voltemada that goes into the half space. Silva then will go into the half space. Tonali drops into the halfway line. Foden then will come all the way back here, because you know what Foden will want? Gilmares to come and drop into there. And then what you get then is Haaland will drop into the half space with Doku. And how far up the line do you want to go before there's a space behind you? Because every player has a job to do, Boaky. And the biggest problem for me is when we've gone on the press, on the high press, and we've tried to eliminate these balls out here. Like I said, for me, I would say to them, play into the channels, play into there.
That wasn't
Play
the
into
point.
there.
That wasn't the point I was making, Gary. It wasn't when the keeper's got the ball. It's when you had Voldemort in the middle of the field winning the ball and playing it forward to Barnes or Murphy. What I'm saying is Barnes or Murphy aren't going to hold it up. They're either going to turn and run or they're going to lose the ball. If they then lose the ball, you're doubled up on both wings. They've got doubled up players.
Did you watch the West Germany game?
No.
No. Well, what I'm saying is you need to watch. And how many times have we seen Voldemort pick the ball up on the halfway circle and go forward with the ball? He always plays in the diagonals. He always plays what he sees in front of him. So, again, it's all about movement. What you need to have.
That's again not what I was saying. What I was saying was if the ball's played forward to Newcastle by Voldemort from a little bit deeper back, so a number 10 role, Murphy or Barnes lose it. You've got your back three where we had them as a back three.
Right.
You then have the two lads on the wing that are going to be able to double up on both sides. So at either side, you're going to have Hall and Trips on the wing, with two players doubling up on them.
I'd just say that I think I get what you're saying, Boaky. Obviously, like you're 2-on-1 sort of thing, and it's a problem at that point. But I think with, for example, if Cher's behind Trippier, he can potentially come across and help out. It's like it's risk and reward, isn't it? And you're always going to have these situations in the game where it's like chess, where one team is going to have the upper hand in that moment. It's how can you recover? But I think as well with the front three, if you like, or the Murphy and Barnes, I think it's not just about them necessarily pinning back Man City. It's also having the fluid movement of coming from deep, so they don't have to be like all the way up there. And then if we lose the ball, we're snookered. They can make the runs, but they can be starting from deep. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, that's harder to mark as well when you're running from deep. So it's just having that fluid movement between the three up there, I just think could be an option where you try and get that balance right between coming back as a team, but also threatening in behind against them.
I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but your idea is to kind of throw Pep by not doing what we always do, which is attacking wide on the wings. Yeah. You want to see it far narrower and attacking.
I want to nullify their strength. So if you think a lot of their play will come from the likes of Silva, the likes of Foden's movement, because Foden will drop into the 10. So again, this is a 4-3-3 system. It's not a 4-3-3 in Pep's eyes. This is whatever the lads play on the day, because they will see it. They will see a position and they will go and utilise it. It's called freedom and it's called fluidity, and that's what I said. The problem I see with Newcastle a lot of the time is you're asked to play a system and the lads play the system to what the law book tells you to play it. There's no freedom of movement sometimes. We are rigid within that system of play. It's like, I've just showed you that J7 sits mainly on the left-hand side. He never really gets involved in and around the centre circle a lot. He wants to be that extra body on the left-hand side. Do we need that extra protection all the time? If you've got a player out of the game on that left-hand side for the majority of games, team goes on the left-hand side, you're outnumbered anyway, because Newcastle are overloaded on the wrong side most of the time. So you've got to start asking yourself a question is, have I got to change me to you, or am I going to try and upset you by making a change? I can't change the personnel because that's what I've got to pick from, but I can change the system. And all I'm saying is, if Eddie Howe went out and he got absolutely hammered playing this system, I'd hold my hand up and say, you know what? I was wrong. I was totally wrong. But they've got to go out there and play whatever system Eddie Howe puts down and make it work. And that's what I'm saying. All I'm giving you is there is options, there's alternatives. I'm not saying that this is what Eddie Howe will go to. I'm just saying is the way Voltemada works in the system, you can have Voltemada drop into this system, as he did against with West Germany, play that ball into Tonali, then it goes out to Lewis Hall. Barnes drops out 10 yards, picks the ball up from Lewis Hall, which allows then Voltemada the opportunity with Murphy to run into the box. So it's all about movement. It's not about losing the ball, because if you're static, and we've seen it so many times, you've got every chance of being tackled before you've passed the ball. Voltemada, if you remember, he had that out ball. I think it was to Kieran Trippier. I may be wrong. It may have been Tino. And he just got it out of his feet, and he was just going to spread the ball. But because he had one touch too many, the ball got nicked off him. And we were wide open at that point because we had committed all the players forward. That's the risk. Sometimes, and it's like when we play out from the back, because we're playing and committing bodies forward into the opposition area, runners, how many times have we said, oh, there's Ilanga, he's made a good run. There, why haven't you passed the ball? Pass the ball. Because we want to play safe. And I think that is what a difference is between a top 4 team and the rest, the also-rans. Because
it's the difference between the way we are playing now and the way we've been playing the last 3 years. Everybody wants to play safe. Wazza's got it all sussed though. He says, all we do is go man for man and hope we get the breaks. Well, if you put all those players man to man, by the way, Warren, I think there'd be more blue ticks than black and white ticks.
You don't know. Any player looks good when they've got space on the ball. Players look at Liverpool. When we put Liverpool under the press and really got at them, especially in the cup final, they didn't look Liverpool. They didn't look like the Liverpool of old, did they? They looked as though they didn't want the ball, mate, because they were going to get in. And that's what we've got to do with the likes of Man City. You give Man City the room, Man City will hurt you. You know, you even got, look at Gvardiol last time we played them at home. He was the one from left back who danced his way after, Kieran Trippier comes and has a go at Grealish, remember? And Grealish puts him on his backside and then just puts a delicate ball into Gvardiol, who was left back, and he scores against us. You can't afford to do that. You've got to stand these boys up. Don't go to ground. Stand them up. Let them make a decision. And if you make the decision correctly and you play them in a different area that they want to be in, and that's what I said. We all know when Doku gets the ball, he wants to be on his right foot because he hasn't got a left foot. So leave the channel for him to run to the line. As long as you've got the ability and the brain to say, I'll block your right foot, but let's see what you've got with your left. And it's about pace with Doku. And that's what I said. For me, I think Kieran Trippier is up for a busy day. And I hope he can get some support down there. Come on, what you've all gone quiet.
You've all gone quiet over there. No, like I said, the key to me is to lose this fear that we're playing with at the minute. Get back to pressing, and if we lose the ball and it comes over and we get done, so be it. But put them under pressure. Pass the ball forward. None of this tippy-tappy pendulum nonsense. Try and get the ball forward at every opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see. Go on then, lads. Who's your back to? Botman? Chow?
Botman, Chow.
Botman and Chow, without a doubt.
If you play this formation,
like I say, I don't think there'll be a change.
I don't want to go 3 at the back. I want a 4-3-3, the way we can, with Ramsey in for J7.
Do you think Ramsey will start for J7?
I've got my doubts. I think it'll be Joe. I mean, the thing is, I said 2 nights ago, like, these games against the top sides are normally Joe Linton's perfect games in that he's got those long busting runs and he covers so much ground. exactly. And technically, he's switched on and stuff, but because he's in a rut, because he isn't his normal self, and in my opinion, he's been overplayed in games that hasn't suited him, and he hasn't had that rest. He, alongside others, is looking really jaded. So, despite this being a game that you'd normally have him you'd have him a guaranteed start, I'd actually be taking him out, I think, because I want to see Ramsey in the side, and I want to see more technicality on the ball, and also allow Ramsey to have the chance to show what he can do physically and show what he can do going forward.
I've got an awful feeling J7's beginning to come a red card waiting to happen.
Well,
He's
definitely.
never had one, you know.
No, I know he hasn't, but just the way he's going on in games, at some point the referees are getting clever to him, and at some point he is going to be red carded. I think for me that would be Ramsey as well. I think I would want Ramsey in the team.
J7,
He's definitely a marked man with referees as J7, because how many times have we seen it when everybody's kicking everybody off the park, and the first dodgy foul that J7 makes, yellow card. The refs have got him in that little.
They have win, but his combativeness has turned into recklessness and clumsiness. That one against Spurs, any referee, that could have been a red, never mind a yellow. That was just stupid, So, like, you want to be in the face, you want to cover the ground, you want to show that steel. But that, to me, is just silliness, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think
you want to have your head switched on,
I just think if we are going to go and if we're going to have a go, we need. There's Jeffo, I'll say Jeff. We need creative players, not runners. So Ramsey is more of a creative player than what J7 is, and I would give him a go.
Geordie John up in the Scotland. Where's the weakness through City? How can we surprise them through their midfield defence? Well, that's the problem. There is no weaknesses. You have to create the weakness. And like I say, if you allow players of this quality time on the ball, they will dominate. They'll make you run, and we all know running, with nothing at your feet, where your mindset is literally just on the running, you get tired so much quicker. So for me, it is something that that Newcastle have to do. And that's why I said weakness is, for me, it'll be closing down. It'll be everybody putting that shift in and closing the space. Man for man. And like I say, for me, you either put Botman on Botman or Chow on Haaland. Somebody has to double up on Doku, because at the minute, let me just give you a for instance. If you look, what happens? Cherky drops in, which allows Doku to go high, and Doku and Haaland are the ones that play more or less up top. So again, he's got the free role. He'll play literally wherever he wants to play. Silva would now likes to play on this right hand side, and he'll work this pocket of space. So they will always have 4 bodies, if not 5 bodies, in the Newcastle half. That's the problem. It's like I said, you lose the ball, and I think it was Foxy who's just said in the chat, Man City will be more than happy to sit off and allow Newcastle just to make the mistake and hit us on the counter, because that is the way you play.
£5 super sticker there from Michael McIntyre. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Very kind of you, sir.
A pair character lifting some weights, saying, "Keep it up."
Wee. And that's what I said. Where is their weakness? Because they're limited on weaknesses, but they have bad games, and they have bad games against teams. Who was the last team to beat them? Can anybody remember?
Was it Villa?
Well, I can remember Palace beating them, and I can remember Bournemouth giving them a hell of a game, because they didn't appear to respect their reputation at all, and they just pressed and pressed and pressed.
And the two games that they lost to at the start of the season, there was problems. Yeah, look at Villa, Brentford, they're all coming in now. All of the teams that they've lost to, press them man for man. They didn't give them or allow them time to get on the ball, to play the simple balls. Everything was rushed. Everything was hurried. And even the likes of the Silvers, who graces the ball at times, made mistakes. So you've got to see for what it is. Go on,
I
mate.
thought they looked ordinary against Villa when I
Yeah.
see them. That wasn't that long ago, and now they really have burst into life, unfortunately, since then. But that day, they weren't much at all.
No. Nah, man, Gary, cut the supply to Forden and Silverman. Says, was that? That's easily said and done. That's what I said. The Foden's a clever footballer, and he seems to have found his form again since his little spat last season. And he seems to literally hit the ground running. And because he plays with such freedom, it's sometimes very difficult to find. Do you lose Tonali? Do you just say to Tonali, Mark Foden out the game? I guarantee you that's what Eddie Howe will say.
You cannot really do it with their players, though, because if you mark Foden out the game, another one of their players steps up. Unless you go man for man all over the
There you go.
pitch,
Well, that's what was always saying.
that's not going to work. But if we do that, then it ruins our game.
That's what I'm saying.
We can't worry about it. It's a stupid thing to say because of Man City, but we can't worry about them to that degree. We've got to play our own. Yes, we've got to be careful because we know who we're playing, but we've got to play our own game as well. We're a home team. We're meant to be one of the top teams in the Premier League. We've got to go with it and play our own game and try to win the game.
So midfield then, you're sticking with you want Ramsey in, and we're going to go with Tonali and Bruno, yeah?
Yeah.
So let's have a look at how that looks. I mean, for me, I think that looks really good because Ramsey likes these spaces. He can play in there. But I just have a feeling it's going to be more this than anything else.
Mm.
That's what I have a feeling it'll be.
I agree, and that's
why I think J7 will be in there because he'll be the one that roughs everybody up.
And then I fear Voltemade being isolated, unfortunately, and
same as Isaac was.
Well, you're showing it there, aren't you? If it goes to what you're saying, you've got Voltemade, and we know what Voltemade will do. Then he'll come back.
Yeah.
And then we've got nobody in there.
Nobody.
Yeah. No. So it's like a balance between you want support for Voltemade, but not at the expense of being completely wide open against a side like this. So that's why I was just thinking, like with the wing backs, you've got a bit more protection with 3 centre backs behind to cover those spaces and allow your wingers to join Voltemade and make runs in behind. But I I get what you're saying as well, Boaky, in that look, we play our game. Our game is 4-3-3. Let's back ourselves and have Tonali be switched on, have Bruno be switched on midfield. So I get that as well. It's just that tricky balance of causing them a problem, but not being so wide open, and also being defensive enough, but having, like you said, nobody up front when everybody comes back, which I fear might happen.
Warren saying you've just said it. The teams that beat them went man for man.
Yeah. And I like I say, I'm not disagreeing with it, matey. That's what I want to see. I want to see everybody stepping up to do a job, and bless him, Connor's just sent me a message with exactly what I was just going to say. You look at their midfield, Silva, Gonzalez, and Foden. There's not a nasty person in there. So why do you need J7?
Exactly, and I thought that as well when I was saying before, this is Man City's, Arsenal's, a Joe Linton sort of games. But when I did look at Man City's team, I thought, well, actually, like you say, Foden, he's a small, nippy player. Gonzalez isn't exactly a beast, and Silva's small, nippy. So I think that's absolutely spot on. So you expect Ramsey, you ask him to do a job in terms of tactically, in terms of covering ground, but physically, he should be able to match those players.
Yeah. I can't fault that. Anything you want to add, Boaky?
No, the only thing I was thinking there was you could potentially do what you did when we had the 3 at the back, push Voldemort. If Voldemort's going to play a little bit further back in the 10 role, and then move Bonds and Murphy in a little bit.
Yeah.
And
the only thing I would worry about...
You're putting a hell of a lot of pressure on Tonali there to say, whatever side they attack down, you're going to have to be
Cover.
the one that's back defending.
You're the
Help
spare
out on
man,
that
left or
side.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to do it that way,
The reason why I put Murphy in was because of him. I think he'll be sitting in front of that, and it'll be a case of stop the ball, try and stop the pass lines.
It will
You know
be.
what I mean?
It will be. But I think you're spot on, Boaky, in that if we do play this formation, then I think it is down to somebody like Tonali for this game to be mopping up left and right for the full-backs, because again, you want Murphy and Barnes to be offering a threat going forward, and obviously they've got to track back as well, but you don't want them just pinned in all the time. So you want them up there at times anyway to allow to say to Man City, come back to us, come and track us, instead of vice versa. So instead of having the fluidity of the 3/8s, saying to Tonali, please just look, you need to watch out for Doku, you need to watch out for Cherky. I think that's a potential compromise if you're playing this formation to allow yourself to still have that attack and threat going forward down the wings.
We have got our super duper breakfast toast, Corey D, in the super chat for all the way from Oz. Watch and listen to that show, folks. It's excellent. Brighton and Villa both beat City on the counter. Going straight at City is a death sentence. So he's disagreeing with me there.
Yeah, but you've still got to have the right players to counter. That's the problem, isn't it? You look at, Minte, who's great for Brighton down that right hand side. We know like McGinn will always be the one that will hustle down the left hand side for Villa. There's plenty of outs. Our problem is pace. If you look at the setup that we've got here, and you can go.
Well, so is this an opportunity for Alanga to come in?
I was
Well,
just
there
going to
you
say,
go.
if you do that, then you swap the two wingers out for the other two, don't you?
But he's Gordon fit.
It's meant to be, isn't he?
But
he's
to me, if we
trained.
do that, we are playing exactly the way Pep expects us to play.
So let's put these two in as your outs then, because I think if Gordon is fit, I think he plays. I think he's one of his faves. He likes his output. He hasn't given us anything regarding XG. And Alanga's the same. So you've taken off your two main goal threats that can strike a ball from distance. And I think you ain't going to get many opportunities in the box unless everybody's up for it. And like I say, for me, this lad, with his first game back, really, from the start, I think a lot of emphasis will be on him to get into this zone and play. And like I say, Cherky's happy to drop in. So again, it's all about this area here for me. We've got to start playing in. We don't want him to be doing this all the time and running into men, because that's what happens far too often. But before that, he never had Lewis Hall for the ball out. You know what I mean? He's got somebody now who we can see on the outside that can potentially, if Gordon does run into this transition area and goes past Voltemada, if Voltemada just gets the ball into this zone, there's options. There's options all over the park if we can do it. And that's what I said. It's all about movement for me. Anthony Gordon, I think, would be an ideal situation for, when he, what was the goal when he set up for Harvey Barnes, remember?
Benfica.
Where it was just Voltemada's little touch to Gordon again to pass the ball on the diagonal. Something like that will unlock most defences, because everybody gets sometimes a bit transfixed to where the ball is. And you'll often attract two players. How many times have we seen Voltemada have two players on his back? There's got to be somebody spare then around you. So for me, it's something that Newcastle have to start doing, and that's move off the ball. And I don't see enough of it. It's something we need to start doing.
Unfortunately, I think with the Lang, go on, Boaky, mate.
Do you know what I'd like to see us start doing as well in the game? Is maybe for 10-minute periods, swap the left and right side of the front three. So swap Gordon and Alanga around and play them on the opposite side.
On the
Just so,
natural side.
yeah, just so the fullbacks have got other things to think about.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you.
they're not
Totally agree.
sort of constantly playing the same attacking type of player. You swap that, and as I say, not for long periods. So maybe it's 10 minutes in the first half, 5-10 minutes in the second half, and just see what the difference is. To see if make the fullbacks have other decisions to make.
But the
And
one place that Eddie Howe seems averse to playing Gordon is right wing,
yeah,
isn't it? Unfortunately.
yeah,
And
yeah. Same as Alanga left wing, isn't it? You know, we saw him play there for Sweden, and he, like I say, he seemed okay. He was going for it. You know, the problem I've seen here though, in the recent games, is a lot of players are trying to block Anthony Gordon's run down this side, and what they do then is they'll have a body playing just inside him, knowing full well this is the way he's going to run. And a lot of the times now he's running into traffic. He's running directly into bodies. So they've got used to what Anthony Gordon wants to do. I think Anthony Gordon needs to start going on the outside a lot more and utilising his pace. Don't see a lot of it these days.
No, except for England.
For England, yeah. Where he's
Coming in the last 10 minutes, folks, we'll just go and do some super chats, bars.
It's all right, John.
Toon Assassin, Melly to me has got bigger the last few years. He just needs to trust himself and go into a tackle with his size. And we've got, who's that just come in there in the super? 2 seconds. Switch around. It was Wazza's back in again. Why not replace J7 with Gordon? And 4-2-3-1. Yeah, I think he's realised the error of his ways.
There you go. Would you settle for that, guys and gals? That's a 4-2-3-1. Jacob Ramsey's never played there, so you wouldn't want to use Ramsey there.
I think the main thing is that Voltemera gets that support. So whether it's Ramsey coming from the 8 in the 3, or whether it's number 10, Ramsey definitely needs to be getting up the pitch and getting beyond Voltemera and linking up with them. So, I mean, I wouldn't be averse to that formation full stop going forward, especially when Wiss is back.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? You know, whoever plays in this area needs the ability to hold the ball, give and go, whichever direction he wants to go. These guys are going to be the pinnacle then of receiving the ball and laying off and moving. But Gordon's played there. He's obviously played here. He's not very good. But I think this could be where Voltemada and Gordon probably work quite comfortably together. You saw with Gnabry, like I say, I keep going to the West Germany game simply because Gnabry's not a natural goal scorer either, but he works really well in that 10 zone. He's got that little bit of ability. And I think, like I say, but again, who do you put out on the left-hand side? Ramsey, Willock, who else? Barnes?
Is Man City the game to be experimenting?
Well, we've just talked about insanity. Is it also the game to go and do the same thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I said do the same thing that we did when we were successful, press. But
we haven't
get
got
back
the
to these
presses,
super
mate.
chats because we're running out of time. Marco was saying Voltemada must not chase shadows, just save his energy and get into the box. Because when Voltemada tries to chase the ball, City are great at keep ball, Walter will just gas out. To an assassin, I do love Tim's idea having 3 big guys at the back for Haaland watch. Man City will play the way they want to, and we will be compressed in our own half, says a very positive Michael. And Foxy, City will try to give us the ball more than usual and then hit us on the counter with Haaland. They are a lot more direct now.
They are
Mark
actually.
will back in with Gordon always struggles against City. I wouldn't play him. Well, there's a thing until the 70th minute.
Super sub.
He could be a decent sub. He could be. You know, Gordon's got the pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got the pace.
You got to the chat.
The only thing is, does he huff if he's on the bench?
Doesn't matter. He's
exactly.
When he comes on, you lose that 5% from him because he's huffing.
Well, then you
like-
reveal something, don't you?
Yeah.
Then you've got an answer as to the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody now, World Cup's around the corner, boys. We've qualified. Everybody that's wearing a white shirt, and there's a lot of them in the Newcastle squad, have to step their performance levels up. There's lots of players now, especially Gordon's position. So I want to see an impact from Anthony Gordon in that left-hand side because, like I say, he's falling further and further down that pecking order for Tuchel to choose from.
Yeah, I know Gordon's got the pace, but I just think if Gordon was to start this game, it's the wrong message. For his performances up till now has still been the side for this game. I just think it's the wrong message to the team. It would set the wrong kind of atmosphere in regards to players being guaranteed a spot no matter how they're playing. I get it with the pace aspect. Maybe Elanga could come in the right, but then obviously you want to double up with Doku, going back with Murphy. So I just think you've really got to make a statement and obviously tactically pick the team that you think can win against Man City. But you've got other factors at play with the likes of Gordon being completely off form and other players being completely off form. And you need to send a message, I think, to the squad as a whole.
Yeah. Obviously, we've only got a couple of minutes left, but I wanted to ask you a final question. Will Eddie Howe see the Marseille game on Tuesday more important than Man City on Saturday?
If he does, he's in big trouble. If he doesn't go out to win that game against Man City and they don't perform well and will have a bad performance because he's thinking of Marcel, then he's in major trouble as a manager.
I don't think he'll be thinking that. I honestly just think he's...
Every game must be important.
He knows right now, he knows he's under pressure and he knows it's the league which is applying that pressure.
Yeah.
So he knows. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's just an interesting one. Obviously, we've got, like I say, last couple of minutes. Hall is going to be his first game back, I would imagine. What if Hall can't make 90 minutes?
Well, to be fair, it's not his first game back, is it? Because he's had...
international games.
Well, no, but even prior to that, he had two quite
15
lengthy
minutes.
cameos.
15 minutes and a cameo, mate.
At 20 years old, it shouldn't make any difference.
What I'm saying is it's not his first game back because he's had that...
Time.
No, but I'm saying... you're asking
And by
him
the
to
way,
run.
both times that he's come on, he's done really, really well.
I totally agree with you. I have no... and to be fair, it was nice to see him have a decent run in a white shirt, if I'm honest with you.
He's 20 years old. If he's over the injury, then fitness shouldn't be a worry with him. He should be fit enough to say just as long as he's over the injury is the main thing.
I didn't... but the question is, if he breaks down... I'm not saying if he's not fit enough. I'm saying if he breaks down, who comes on to replace him?
Crafty?
Have we got?
Yeah, Kraft. I suppose it's the same question with Trips as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said. That's why I'm screaming out in the January window. Fullbacks must be a priority because Tino can cover, but we need another good backup because going forward with the rotation of squad and the amount of games coming forward now, thick and fast, he needs players. Obviously, you've also got to be making sure that you're not looking at cup-tied players either. So hopefully we will see a lot of new faces come January.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much.
You'll be redirected straight on the Newcastle comparison, which is starting right now.
Shall we do some thank yous before we do it? Quickly?
Yeah, we'll do some loads
quickly.
of thank you.
Wazza. Where are we? Wazza with loads of them. Michael McIntyre and who else was there? Corey, thank you, matey. And
I think that was it.
That was it.
That's
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching.
You.
See you on the next one.
The lads.
Take care for now. Lassies and bands.